Hello students, welcome to this social and political life session, chapter 3, how the state government works. How the state government works. In this chapter, we shall be discussing the working and the functioning of the state government. When we talk generally of the government, we think of the terms like ministers, collectors, MLAs, etc. But in this lesson, we shall discuss in detail how the MLA is elected, how the government is formed, what is the basic requirement to form a government, and who forms the government. All these aspects will be covered in this lesson. But before going into the main lesson, let us look at a place which is a district headquarter, that is Patalpuram. Patalpuram is a place where they receive water supply once in 3 days, and the water which they are getting is not at all pure and clean. So because of this, many people in Patalpuram region are suffering with waterborne diseases, and a large number of whom are children with acute diarrhea. So nearly 15 people died due to diarrhea, and the hospital is being overcrowded with many other patients who are suffering with diarrhea. The angry people who lost their family members or who lost their relatives went in angry mood to an MLA house. After going to MLA house, they ghiraud the MLA house and they shouted outside the MLA house. So now who should take the responsibility of the deaths which are caused due to unclean water supplied by the water department? So a person came out and spoke in a loud voice that our MLA must take the responsibility for this. So dear children, so who is an MLA? An MLA is a representative of the people. The full form of MLA is Member of the Legislative Assembly and MLA is elected by the people and he becomes a part of the state governments. So the example below will give us better understanding. Every state in India has a legislative assembly, and each state is divided into different areas or constituencies. For example, you look at the map below. It shows that the state of Himachal Pradesh is divided into 68 assembly constituencies. From each constituency, the people elect one representative who then becomes a member of the Legislative Assembly. He becomes an MLA. You would have noticed that people stand for elections in the name of different parties. Like some stand from Congress, some from BJPs, some from AIUDF, etc. These MLAs therefore belong to different political parties. Now, how do people who are MLAs become ministers or chief minister? So, a political party whose MLAs have won more than half the number of constituencies in a state can be said to be in a majority. The political party that has the majority is called the ruling party, and all other members are called the opposition. For example, the Legislative Assembly of the state of Himachal Pradesh has 68 MLA constituencies, and the result of assembly election in Himachal Pradesh of 2003. Just look at in your book. Indian National Congress, they secured 43 seats. BJP, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, they got 16, and other political parties 3, and independents, means who don't belong to any party, they got 6 seats, and total comes 68. Therefore, the candidates from various political parties won the 2003 assembly elections and became MLAs. Since the total number of MLAs in the Legislative Assembly is 68, a political party would have needed to have more than 34 MLAs in order to gain a majority. Majority means more than half. The Indian National Congress with 43 MLAs had the majority and it became the ruling party, and all other MLAs became the opposition. In this case, Bharatiya Janata Party was the major opposition party since it had the largest number of MLAs after the Indian National Congress. Among the oppositions were other parties, including those who had been elected as independent candidates. After the elections, the MLAs belonging to the ruling party will elect their leader, who will become the chief minister. In this case, the Congress party MLAs chose Sri Virbhadra Singh as their leader, and he became the chief minister. The chief minister then selects other people as ministers. After the elections, it is the governor of the state who appoints the chief minister and other ministers. The chief minister and other ministers have the responsibility of running various government departments or ministries. They have separate offices. A legislative assembly is a place where all the MLAs, whether from the ruling party or from the opposition, meet to discuss various things. Hence, some MLAs have dual responsibilities, one as an MLA and the other as a minister. So we will read about this further in the next class. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.